World News of the Week, 2nd of September to 8th of September. A compact week in review.
Erdogan advocates return of Crimea to Ukraine, strains ties with Russia. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has urged Russia to return Crimea to Ukraine, emphasizing Turkey's firm support for Ukraine's territorial integrity, sovereignty, and independence. Speaking at the 4th Crimea Platform Leaders Summit, Erdogan stressed that the return of Crimea to Ukraine is a requirement of international law. This statement marks a significant stance, potentially straining relations with Russian President Vladimir Putin, despite Turkey's long-standing diplomatic ties with Russia.
Turkey, a NATO member since 1952, has balanced its relationship with both Ukraine and Russia throughout the ongoing conflict. While opposing Western sanctions on Russia, Turkey has supplied Ukraine with armed drones and condemned Russia's invasion. Erdogan's remarks may unsettle Moscow, as Putin annexed Crimea in 2014 and claims it as Russian territory. The international community widely regards this annexation as illegal.
Erdogan reiterated Turkey's historical opposition to the annexation of Crimea and called for strengthened protections for Crimea's ethnic Tatar population. He expressed hope for a peaceful resolution based on Ukraine's full territorial integrity, which includes the Crimean Peninsula.
This is not the first time Erdogan has taken such a stance. In 2020, he declared that Turkey would never recognize Crimea's annexation. The Turkish leader's continued backing of Ukraine contrasts with Russia's demand for international recognition of its annexations as a precondition for peace talks. US considers permitting Ukraine to strike Russian territory amid ongoing war. The Biden administration is contemplating allowing Ukraine to use long-range weapons against Russian targets, with President Joe Biden stating that discussions are ongoing. This potential shift comes as US Secretary of State Antony Blinken prepares to meet Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky to discuss lifting restrictions on the use of US technology in strikes on Russia. The UK and France already supply Ukraine with Storm Shadow and Scalp EG missiles, which include US technology that has so far been restricted for such use.
This development follows the UK's decision to terminate direct air services with Iran as part of sanctions targeting Tehran's supply of missiles to Russia. The US and European nations, including Germany and France, have also imposed new sanctions on Iran and Russian entities involved in the transportation and use of these missiles in Ukraine. The White House confirmed that Russia had received Iranian ballistic missiles, which are expected to be deployed in Ukraine within weeks.
On the ground, Russia claims it has made significant territorial advances in eastern Ukraine, specifically in Donbass, with fighting continuing along key front lines. Ukrainian forces are also holding their ground in several contested areas, while maintaining defensive positions.
In a separate development, Ukraine accused a senior Russian commander of ordering an attack on a children's hospital in Kyiv, an act currently under investigation by the International Criminal Court. Meanwhile, Kyiv is preparing for a challenging winter by bolstering its power grid and negotiating with European partners to increase electricity imports.
As the war drags on, Ukraine continues its diplomatic efforts to rally global support, with plans for a second international summit aimed at finding a path to peace. Ukrainian guerrillas target Russian guards involved in torture. Ukrainian guerrillas, in coordination with Ukraine's defense intelligence, carried out an explosion targeting Russian servicemen in Yekaterinburg, Russia, on September 11. These Russian personnel were allegedly involved in organizing torture chambers in the occupied territories of Ukraine.
The defense intelligence reported that a covert resistance group, operating against the Russian regime, placed a 6 kilograms explosive device near a checkpoint of the Russian Guard military unit. The explosion resulted in casualties and vehicle damage. Russian special services and medical teams, including a helicopter evacuation unit, responded to the scene.
This act of retaliation highlights the ongoing underground resistance against Russia's occupation and mistreatment of Ukrainians.
Zimbabwe to cull 200 elephants amid severe drought and food shortages. Zimbabwe has announced plans to cull 200 elephants as part of efforts to address food shortages caused by a severe drought and manage an overpopulation of the animals, according to the country's wildlife authority. Environment Minister Sithembiso Noni confirmed that the government has directed the Zimbabwe Parks and Wildlife Authority, ZimParks, to begin the cull in areas where elephants have clashed with human settlements, particularly around Wang National Park.
Zimbabwe is home to approximately 100,000 elephants, with 65,000 of them residing in Wang, a number that far exceeds the park's capacity. The drought, which has affected multiple southern African nations, has exacerbated food insecurity, with an estimated 6 million Zimbabweans needing food aid in the upcoming lean season.
The culling decision has sparked debate. While some, like conservationist Chris Brown, argue that controlling elephant numbers is necessary to protect habitats and other species, critics, including the Center for Natural Resource Governance, warned that the move could harm tourism, a vital sector in Zimbabwe's economy. They urged the government to consider more eco-friendly and sustainable methods.
This is Zimbabwe's first elephant cull since 1988, with neighboring Namibia recently undertaking a similar cull to manage its wildlife during the drought. The debate between conservation and ethical tourism continues as Zimbabwe navigates the complex challenges posed by the drought. Second apparent assassination attempt on Trump thwarted at Florida Golf Club. The FBI is investigating an apparent assassination attempt on former President Donald Trump at his Florida Golf Club on Sunday. This marks the second such incident in 2 months. Trump was unharmed during the event, his campaign confirmed.
The Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office received a report regarding shots fired by Secret Service agents at a man carrying a rifle near the perimeter of the Trump International Golf Club. Trump was playing golf when a Secret Service agent spotted a rifle barrel protruding through a fence, triggering immediate action. The suspect, who fled the scene, was later apprehended by authorities with the help of a witness who provided critical information about the suspect's vehicle.
The person in custody is identified as Ryan Wesley Routh, a self-employed housing builder with strong political opinions and prior travel to Ukraine. Law enforcement recovered an AK-47-style rifle, 2 backpacks containing ceramic tiles, and a GoPro camera at the scene.
The FBI is conducting an international investigation to learn more about Routh's background and online activity. This attempt comes after another similar incident in Pennsylvania 2 months ago, raising concerns about the security surrounding the former president.
Trump later assured supporters he was unharmed, while his campaign reaffirmed his security. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis announced a separate investigation into the incident.